Bill O'Reilly to Newsmax. Biden owns worst policy gaffe ever. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website theusmilitarynews.com. Longtime TV host and best-selling author Bill O'Reilly told Newsmax on Tuesday that President Joe Biden's 2021 executive order striking down President-elect Donald Trump's "Remain in Mexico" policy is the single worst policy made by a president in U.S. history. O'Reilly, author of Confronting the Presidents and host of No Spin News, joined Rob Schmidt tonight to talk about Trump's successful immigration policies, shunned by Biden, which led to the border catastrophe. Now, Trump was successful, his last year in office in 2020, in tamping down migrant caravans and the tremendous infusion of foreign nationals, and to some extent narcotics, into this country because former Mexico President Andrés Manuel López Obrador had to put his soldiers on the northern border with us and the southern border with Guatemala, O'Reilly said. The moment Biden took over, he threw that "Remain in Mexico" policy out by executive order, and Obrador was more than happy to take his soldiers off the border because I believe, I can't prove it, that the cartels were pumping a lot of money into the Obrador government, if you know what I mean, O'Reilly told Schmidt. He couldn't wait to get his army out of there so that the cartels could run wild, and they did for 3.5 years. That was the single worst policy that any president ever in our history has made. And that policy failure is among the reasons why O'Reilly, in his book, lists Biden as the second worst president in American history, only behind Civil War architect James Buchanan. Biden's the second worst president because he created problems. It wasn't that he was incompetent, but he actually created this open border, O'Reilly said. Why, for what reason, never fixed it, and it's been a catastrophe. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website theusmilitarynews.com. Source: Newsmax.com.
Will complete the land bank during the coming year to be a central authority that can be relied upon to acquire land for various projects and future investments. The official spokesman for the Ministry of Construction, Istabrak Saba, said that his ministry, represented by its management, the Supreme Committee for Lands, has begun since the beginning of this year to prepare the necessary requirements and supplies to establish a land data management center after obtaining the approval of the Council of Ministers to do so. In order to be a reliable entity that can be relied upon to obtain the lands needed for projects, infrastructure, and various investments. He pointed out that the Supreme Committee for Land Management in the country has reached advanced stages in establishing it, stressing that it will be fully completed and put into service during the coming year. Noting that it will be affiliated with the Ministry of Water Resources since the maps of the lands are available with the General Authority for Survey. In the same context, Saba explained that work is underway to complete the requirements for equipping it with the computer supplies, electronic systems and software that must be available for the center to operate. In addition to an engineering and technical staff trained to manage it, as it will adopt a unified smart system for inventorying and managing lands and determining ownership and use. He stated that the main objective of its establishment is that the various governmental and investment agencies face a major challenge in obtaining information related to lands, as they are distributed among various landowning entities, and therefore there is no single source to rely on in this area. He pointed out that the center will facilitate effective decision-making regarding land management, which will contribute to shortening the time and effort spent by various entities in obtaining lands. Dollar exchange rates fall in Baghdad and Erbil with the closing of the stock exchange. Economy, November 26, 2024. Mawazin News. Baghdad. The dollar exchange rates fell in the markets of Baghdad and Erbil, the capital of the Kurdistan region, on Tuesday, with the closure of the country's stock exchanges. The dollar prices fell with the closure of the Al-Kifa and Al-Harithia stock exchanges, recording 150,000 dinars per $100. While the exchange rates recorded 150,250 dinars per $100 this morning. The selling prices also fell in the field of exchange in the local markets in Baghdad, where the selling price reached 151,000 Iraqi dinars per $100, while the purchase price reached 149,000 dinars per $100. In Erbil, the dollar also recorded a decline, where the selling price reached 149,850 dinars per $100, and the purchase price reached 149,750 dinars per $100. Listen to the full version on the official dinarreport.com website and become our supporter on Patreon. Source: Dinar Recaps.